I'm not going to do this because
I can do that.
To speak, I just never shut up. So if it's okay with you,
I can do that. Yes, easily. Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you tell me what the Glasgow Palestine twinning is all about, or the Glasgow Bethlehem twinning is all about?
Maybe I don't know much about. Maybe David can do.
right, when is your plane leave?
Come here.
Glasgow and Bethlehem. Yeah, sorry, that's the Glasgow and Bethlehem have had a friendship agreement since 1992. They've had a formal twinning since 2007. The formal twinnings is a protocol of the Foreign Office. The twinnings were set up in 1946 as a way of building reconciliation between Britain and Germany. Not many people know about the twinning in Glasgow, unfortunately, but it is something that's growing. And about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, a group was set up to promote the twinning, and that's becoming a more active group. And it's just organising different events, such as this. We heard that George was in Britain, and we thought, well, this would be a fantastic opportunity. George is unique, but he's not unique. There are hundreds of Palestinians like him.
Of course.
He's the real Palestine.
Habibi, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will one second. I am very passionate about Palestine, definitely. And in Bethlehem, Bethlehem has 130 twinnings, I think. But the twinnings has to be between people to people, more just an official. So it will be an invitation to for you to activate. There are women groups, there are a lot of ideas to do that, connecting with, there is a lot in Bethlehem. So it starts by coming to Bethlehem. We are happy to help you to have a unique visit of the Bethlehem area and all of Palestine. So it's important to come now. And yesterday, probably you should have been there. I think it's very important. This is the right time to come and see by yourselves, by your own eyes, in order to build the links. And that's an open invitation, and we are happy to work actively with you. I work very actively on other twinnings with France, with the municipality of Bethlehem, and also with the organizations. There is a lot to do. I am, for example, vice president of my local football club, football, basketball, and so on. We are famous with basketball. We're the champions of Palestine, basketball at all ages. This year, we won 11 tournaments out of 12 we were in, at all ages, boys and girls. We love it, for example. That's good. We are going to extend, Barney and I, we're going to extend the letter for the retired players from Celtic to come and play in Palestine. We need your help and support with this. We are happy to host them for free on the ground, tour all of Palestine. There are many people who are willing to do that. This will be very interesting. So that's an idea. There are many ideas about this. Yes, ma'am.
So if you were going to go in March onto the tour, I reckon that it's going to be quite cool.
Cold?
It's going to be too hot.
That's a good question. You asked me another question in the demonstration yesterday. Was it you?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Probably. I can recognise you from the picture.
Okay. So the weather in Palestine is diverse. It's what we call Palestine is a 4 seasons country. So you can see all the weather. In the summer is going to be bad for you. Really bad for you. It's going to be hot. Unless you want to start walking by 4:30 in the morning until 10, and then rest and walk in the evening or afternoon, because that will be good. But spring and autumn, the weather is good. For us, any temperature below 20 Celsius is cold for us. So the weather will be good in the spring and autumn. So February, March, April, this is good. Early May, then it's going to be hot. Then end of September, October, November, December, early December is a good time as well. The problem is that day is short. So sunset is like 5, like yours. Yeah. That's all, yeah.
So how much walking is there each day?
How much walking each day? Good question. Ask all your questions and answer them. The trail is divided into 28 segments. You do not need to walk all of them. You can walk parts of them. So if you come for 1 week, you can walk for 3, 4 days, 2 days, whatever you want, a mix between vehicles and cultural experiences. Depends on you, what you're able to do, and also depends what you are in. And in our website and on the application, all trails are they're classified into easy, moderate, and challenging. And the elevation profile is very clear, that's showing everybody where it goes. This was a lot of work, by the way, but we have it, and people can see it. We can select really nice, beautiful walks for people to do until today, and also real good experiences. Yes?
Okay. I would say one thing, just while you're all thinking of questions. Sorry, yes. One of the projects that we're looking at is at a school called the School of Joy in Bethlehem. It's a special needs school, and we are working on an exchange where 2 or 3 of the teachers from Bethlehem are going to come to Glasgow, and then we will envisage that there'll be a reciprocal view, a reciprocal return. Some of you will be also aware that in terms of the health provisions, there's been quite a lot of work done by psychologists and psychiatrists from Glasgow who've exchanged with Bethlehem and developed some programmes through the university, and also the oncology. For about 14-15 years now, this programme has built up, and regularly there have been nursing staff and doctors coming back and forward, initially via Bethlehem, but that spread and encompassed Gaza also. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I want to say.
No.
I want to.
No, this man's an expert.
Oh yeah, he's good. The Joy School is in Bet Sahur, in fact. Yeah, and I know the school since a very long time. And just to, you have mentioned psychologists, we are all traumatized. Just to be clear. Yes, sir.
I think.
Here we go.
My name's Graham Bryce. I'm a child psychiatrist, retired, but under the twinning umbrella, there's been 2 big health projects. One of them that David already mentioned, being led by Jerry O'Hare, that many of you know. Jerry's a regular at Vigils and Demos. And Jerry at Bethel University led the setup of an oncology nursing course where there was no training in specialisms in oncology. And to be fair to the NHS in Glasgow, they've been very supportive of that. Very supportive of that in allowing nurses to come over here and have a secondments, and that's been a very successful development. And the other one that David referred to is that there was a project between educational psychologists, clinical psychologists and other NHS people, including the psychiatrists, with the Guidance and Training Centre for Children and Families in Bethlehem, because there was no postgraduate training, so if we ever need help from a clinical psychologist here, there was no equivalent training available. And so under that umbrella, it was a voluntary project relationship between folks in West of Scotland mainly and the team in Bethlehem to build a postgraduate course. And there have now been, I think, definitely 3, possibly 4 cohorts of psychology graduates in the West Bank, all done through the volunteers that were coming from Scotland. So both.
Excellent. Also, you can connect with the trade unions of the social workers and psychologists. And as well, I want to tell you that in the current conditions, in any difficulties, and especially economic difficulties, healthcare and education are really badly hit. Many people are dropping school because they cannot afford paying for it anymore. Healthcare is in a disaster situation at the moment, as the public healthcare is cannot find medicine, doctors and nurses are not paid, You know, Israel has been confiscating our taxes because according to Oslo Agreement, they should collect our taxes and pay it to us. So we're talking about $8 billion are not paid. Tomorrow they will pay a salary of 60% to the civil servants. Like our mother, who's a retired teacher from more than 30 years now, and she will be paid 60%. I don't know for which month, probably sometimes from the year 24. So people are not paid with difficult conditions. So healthcare and education is really badly hit. Also, I want to tell you that we are willing to host volunteers with a free accommodation to volunteer at Palestinian Heritage Trail. Especially younger generations, if you want to send younger generations to volunteer in communications, writings, whatever. Yeah.
I'll ask a question. I do know the answer to this a little
Yeah.
bit, but I think that maybe you meant to say it but didn't say it. I understand that people under 35 in Bethlehem who live 4 miles from Jerusalem
Yes.
never go.
4 years ago, I managed to go to Gaza. And we created the first hiking trail in Gaza. It's in the central Gaza, Khan Yunis area. And there I worked for, I stayed like 1 week. I worked with 25 young generations in trail management and trail delineation and teaching them waymarking. And we waymarked the first trail about 8.5 kilometers in Gaza area. We had a dream to develop a long distance trail of about 45 kilometers in all of Gaza. It was shocking that those young people, I was showing them trails from different parts of the world. Imagine that they have never seen a mountain in their lives. One guy, he was killed in attacking a school because the schools became shelter for the people from the different communities. I remember this guy, he had 2 dreams. The first one to get married, second one to visit Jerusalem. Young people from the West Bank never seen the sea before, opposite to Gaza. We have no access to Gaza, of course, for a long time. We have to have special permits. And young guys, for me, if I have a permit between me and my family to go to the sea, we are not allowed to drive our car. We have to go through Israeli licensed cars, cross a checkpoint and take an Israeli licensed car. So transportation back and forth to Gaza will cost around over 200 pounds. Not to Gaza, to the sea and come back. So many of our young children have never seen the sea. So the dreams of people have been killed. Their ability to dream and the shared memory between our people have been killed by fragmenting the Palestinian people into Palestinians living in 48, West Bank, Jerusalem, Gaza, and so on, and people in diaspora. This fragmentation is shredding us all over. So we don't share the same memory right now after 1948, and that's a huge loss. So what we are trying to do right now, in my opinion, what we need to do is to make sure that we still keep our cultural heritage, protect it, because this is our identity, that nobody can force us to lose. My identity, it's in my heart and my mind. Nobody can make me lose it at any time. So that is something that we're trying to do with a lot of the young people. It's not possible to have all the young people hike, for example, but we try to organize for school hikes or educational hikes for people to have a good knowledge of their land. But because of this fragmentation, sometimes in the West Bank it's difficult to move, to take children different places, waiting at Israeli checkpoints or humiliated, or not very easy. So that's why we try our best we are a drop in the sea of the activism of the Palestinian people. There are many other organizations and many people who are doing similar work or better work. I won't say we're the best. We have a lot of mistakes, of course. I showed you the beautiful picture, but we make mistakes because that's just how we are, we're human beings. But we do everything we can to make sure that we do the right type of work. Yes, sir.
Yeah, did I read correctly that the Israeli government is taking control of Palestinian education curriculum in order to avoid the teaching of Palestinian history?
That's a very good question, sir. One of the main difficulties that we have been facing that Israel does not want the Palestinian education system to speak about the cultural heritage of Palestinians in the area occupied in 1948. To speak about Haifa or Tantura, to speak about the massacres, to speak about examples. They don't want us to. So that's why they want us to change our curriculum. But notice that the world doesn't change, the Israelis will not change their curriculum of Zionism, speaking about ethnic cleansing and so on. One of the issues that in the middle of the 90s, the first winning of Benjamin Netanyahu to be the Prime Minister of Israel, the most important ministry in the Israeli cabinet for fanatic Israeli parties was Ministry of Education. Because in the Ministry of Education, they were funding a lot of fanatic schools everywhere and coming up with generations that were really fanatic. That's why we end up to see the results of the different census in the Israeli speaking about bombing, sending a nuclear weapon to Gaza, for example, and so on. In addition, that, for example, one of the rabbis of an illegal settlement south of Nablus wrote a book. It's called The King of Judah. We're justifying killing Gentiles. This is deliberate funding by Ministry of Education in Israel, and this is how they have been doing it. So they're attacking the Palestinian curriculum for speaking about our cultural heritage, what yet officially is. Palestinians recognize the State of Israel, over 78% of our historic land, to accept the two-state solution. I think, in my opinion, it was something we did for free, without any exchange, which is a big mistake, in my opinion. But your cultural heritage is becoming a difficulty for them to see you practicing. That's why, in my opinion, what is left for us today after land confiscation is our cultural heritage and identity. That's why we need you to come and see, because what we're trying to do by job creation, preserving the cultural heritage and making sure that it creates jobs for the people, the holders of the heritage. And that is the mission of the Palestinian Heritage Trail. And to help you create links with the people of Palestine, with people all over the world. Any other question? Yes, sir.
I think what you're talking about today, George, to promote Palestine heritage is a wonderful strategy to take. You know, you're encouraging people to visit. I have had an opportunity in the 90s to visit Palestine, and you know, it is marvellous. But from a political point of view, to go and learn about that culture, to go and spend some money in these communities, I think it's wonderful what you're saying. But my question is really just about, you mentioned the difficulties in education and health at the moment. I'm involved with MAP in this country, and the particular situation that a lot of international NGOs are facing, and possibly being barred within the next 2-3 weeks. Do you see this on the ground in Palestine?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, actually, many people having hard time buying there are chronic diseases and people their medications constantly. When people have chronic diseases, many of them have a lot of difficulties by getting their chronic disease medications. The government is not providing it. if you have a public insurance, the public insurance in general is cheap. It's about £250 a year. And if you can get it, but you cannot get the medications from the hospital or from the clinics all over the time. So you have to buy medications from the market. And that is very expensive for the people to buy their own medication, especially chronic diseases. People who have cancer issues or heart, they need medications. Like the local hospitals are not the best quality, so they have to go to private hospitals. Sometimes the government transfer you to private hospitals. When you are transferred to a private hospital for healthcare, the government is not able to pay for the private hospital. So the private hospitals are facing financial difficulties at the moment, like in Jerusalem, and the local private hospital in Bethlehem announced last week that no longer can accept any cases from the government. So if you have to go there, you have to pay, you know. It's not very easy. Healthcare is in a disaster situation. So normally, as you can see, access to healthcare is not very easy. It's very difficult for the people who cannot afford it. In our town, many times we get calls from for example, the young people in the town say, we're making a collection for some person because they have this difficulty. So we also do as well as much as we can from our own money to help our families. This family linkage that we have, as you know, we live as extended families back at home. My brother and I, we live as part of 11 households in our, where we live. We are part of 11 households. My uncles, we live together, and our children are raised up together. So that's what makes it unique in our culture, that we stand for each other as much as we can. But it's becoming harder and harder and harder day by day for so many people. I personally work with many cases of people who do not have access to healthcare. We try to raise funds for them to buy their own medication because it's not available in the public health service. And many cases about this. Yes, anybody has any question? Yes, ma'am.
Just going on from what my brother was saying there, are people actually getting access to the voluntary organisations that are there in terms of making people?
I didn't hear it. Yeah.
Sorry, did you not hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just from your own view, are people actually getting access to health provision from the voluntary organisations that are in Palestine?
Like MAP, for example?
Like MAP and,
yes, of course. Of course. I know that, for example, many of these healthcare organizations, what do they do? Like MAP, for example, as far as I know. I don't know in details, but for example, MAP, they empower local clinics and hospitals, and they bring and buy medications, and also send a lot of aid to Gaza in healthcare, which is really fantastic. Of course, so they are working with there are many groups who are organizing on voluntary basis as well, like charities for healthcare in different places, and they try to help them. So MAP is very crucial for this. And what they are doing in Gaza is spectacular. There are many other groups as well, they try to help. But let me tell you, you're talking about large number of people, millions, and in catastrophic conditions. So in order to get real help, it's actually political. Our solution, the solution to the Palestinian cause is not humanitarian, it's political. So this is the help that we get in solidarity. Yesterday in the demonstration I said, we see you. You are our voice. You are the voice of the voiceless. You know, so we see and we hear. And this solidarity that we get from international organizations is fantastic. And it's helping a lot, you know. But again, the solution is political, not humanitarian. We do what we can, trying to respond to the needs. All right. I just want to close by saying that please, if you want to buy olive wood handicrafts, really, really good, made in Bethlehem and from the olive tree, and the kofiyas as well, and because they're helping different people, that will be great. And again, thank you so much for listening to me, and David, for you.
We're in a church, and had it been a football ground, these people would have all been jumping about, standing up, saying that was wonderful, because that was wonderful.
Thank you.
You said that there might not have been a David. There is. He's here. On the 28th of February, I've forgotten her name, Claudine Dashlin or something like that. She's a professor at the Sorbonne. She's coming to speak and telling about the history of the Middle East. She's an expert on Palestine, particularly the Byzantine times. She's not another George, but she's another type of George. And if you get a chance to come to that, I suspect it's going to be pretty amazing. And also, if you're interested in visiting Bethlehem, I would encourage you to go. I was there last year. And I think we're going to try and organise a group to go. It's not cheap because there are additional costs, but it's worth making the effort. Graham, who some of you might know, Graham and Anne actually cycled from Glasgow. However, there are airplanes as well.
It's a budget alternative.
Maybe the most wonderful presentation. We should do it again. It's not seen. It would be absolute sin for George and Dal to have to take anything back. So if you've got a few minutes to stay and go to the tables, please do. There's also a book on the Bethlehem table. It's £10 copy, and it's about Advent Bethlehem. It is a book that is particular for all three religions, for Judaism, Christianity and Islam. It was written by Nicholas Taylor, who was a priest in Glasgow until last autumn. And even if you don't read theology, this is a very accessible book. And it cross-references the stories from the Quran, from the Bible, so it's worth it. Anyway,